Lieutenant Governor, great to see you. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Congrats, yes, great. Hi, Madam Speaker Frank Bader, nice to see you. Just running great to see you. Just running on time.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is a great day, and I'm thrilled to tell you why. But first, I want to say something that I've been waiting to say for a long time. Baltimore, the deal is done. You cannot fully appreciate this moment without understanding how far we've come. When we took office in January, there was nothing except uncertainty around this deal. Negotiations had stalled. There was no real progress. In less than a year, a lease for one of the most storied baseball franchises in America would run out if we didn't act. Many privately told me the best scenario for 2023 was a one-year extension to buy us some more time. Well, guess what? This morning, the Maryland Stadium Authority approved a 30-year lease extension to keep the Orioles in Baltimore for a generation. My team and I went to the negotiating table with three goals. We had to show a commitment to using taxpayer money responsibly. We had to strike an agreement that will create winners on and off the field. And we had to keep the Orioles in Baltimore for the long term. I took a short-term lease off the table on day one. These were our three non-negotiables, and this team batted 1,000. Under this deal, we will keep the Orioles in Baltimore for the long term with a no relocation clause under any scenario. Under this deal, we are sending a clear message to our friends in the private sector. Investing in Baltimore is a winning strategy. And under this deal, we will jumpstart a larger project centered on how we reinvest in downtown, while also saving taxpayers tens of millions of dollars by making the Orioles pay their fair share. The state will make investments to upgrade the ballpark, with the Stadium Authority controlling that process and ensuring that every single public dollar is spent wisely. And we will attract new investments because our partners in the private sector can count on the business of hundreds of thousands of Birdland fans who flock to Camden Yards every year. We couldn't be happier with this outcome. And look, I know there have been some ups and downs, but big generational deals of true significance aren't given, they're earned. And the bottom line is this: we stuck the landing on a good deal that delivers for Baltimore, delivers for Marylanders, and delivers for O's fans everywhere. An agreement this big takes a big team. And I want to thank just some of the people who got us here. To Lieutenant Governor, You have been a phenomenal partner from day one, and we are so grateful for you and your leadership. And to this entire administration, there is no team that I would rather serve with. To the Orioles leadership, thank you for believing in this city, thank you for believing in this process, and thank you for believing in this historic agreement. To our partners in Annapolis, our remarkable partners in Annapolis, Speaker Jones, President Ferguson, Comptroller Lman, Treasurer Davis, you all have been such strong partners, and your push made the deal better. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. To Anthony Brown and the Attorney General's office, thank you for keeping us on strong legal footing. It's easier said than done with a deal this big, and I'm grateful to you. To my friend Dutch Ruppersberger and the Maryland Congressional Delegation, I tell you, we have the best federal delegation in the country, and we couldn't ask for better partners. To our friends and leaders in Baltimore City, thank you for your trust, thank you for your guidance. To the business community who stood with us and continues to stand with us, thank you for your trust, thank you for your guidance. And of all the people that we want to recognize, I want to give a very, very special shout out to the Maryland Stadium Authority. So the Stadium Authority is a unique asset of our state, and they help lead on everything from stadium deals to school construction. To all of our MSA employees and all of our MSA board members, this win is yours, and we are all so thankful for you. And I need to give a big congratulations to your leader, MSA, the chair of the Maryland Stadium Authority, Craig Thompson. Craig did not seek out this job. I sought him out. Craig did not ask for this job. I asked him to serve. Craig did not take on this role for personal relevance. He took it because the moment required his service. Craig is a leader, he's a statesman, and he's a class act. He doesn't run around to everyone with a microphone or a Twitter account and whine. He just puts his head down and he gets to work. He understands that in this time and in this moment, we have to think big. He understands that short-term deals are not just unimaginative, they're dangerous. He's a born and bred son of Baltimore. He's a proud UMD grad. He is a dyed-in-the-wool Orioles superfan. That's Craig Thompson, and his name will always be remembered. This deal is bigger than sports. This deal is about much more than baseball. This deal is about Baltimore. I've said it before, and I'm going to keep on saying it. This will be Maryland's decade. But in order for that to happen, it's got to be Baltimore's time. Gone are the days where we highlight Baltimore's weaknesses. Now is the time to praise Baltimore's gifts. Gone are the days where we blame Baltimore for our problems. Now is the time to see Baltimore as a solution. That's why the state of Maryland is investing in the redevelopment of Harbor Place and the surrounding neighborhoods. That's why we're delivering robust state support for Coppin State and Morgan State. That's why we're providing funding for convention center upgrades and moving in partnership with the West North Avenue Development Authority. That's why we're channeling resources to Baltimore law enforcement And 2023 will be the first time in 8 years that we are going to break this fever of 300 plus homicides in this city. And on top of that, Baltimore was just ranked as one of the fastest growing economies in the nation. Team, the Baltimore Renaissance is here. And we aren't slowing down. And we're not stopping. In partnership, we will build a city that is livable, that is walkable, that is vibrant, and that is thriving. And I believe 30 years from now, people will look back at this time, and they're going to look back at this deal, and they'll see that it wasn't just the successful result of a lease negotiation. It was a core linchpin of the Baltimore comeback. I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and I'm hopeful. Now, I want to turn it over to our Senate President with deep appreciation for his guidance, for his leadership, and also for allowing us to be in his district during the afternoon. Team, Maryland Senate President, Senator Bill Ferguson.
October 16th, 1983. I wish I could say that this is a personal memory, but at the time I was 6 months and a day old. It was Game 5 of the World Series. Earlier, Eddie Murray had hit 2 home runs in this Game 5 just showdown with the Phillies. And it was the 9th inning. Scotty McGregor, left-handed pitcher, comes up, has thrown a no-hitter in the World Series of Game 5. Rick Dempsey, the eventual MVP of the World Series that season, puts down a high fastball. Scotty throws the pitch right where he wanted to. Soft line drive to Cal Ripken Jr. Orioles are world champions. All right. Dutch remembers the moment. That is a moment of winners. Every single person on that team, from the manager to the individual who helped maintain the stadium to the all-star Cal Ripken, every single person had a role to play to create a championship. Today, we stand here together, a group of individual leaders working as one to move forward not just the city of Baltimore, but the entire state of Maryland, to create a championship for this state. I am so deeply thankful for the opportunity to have put this 30-year deal into place and to have some small part to work with this great team of individuals who each played their role to the maximum ability. I thank the speaker along the way as we've talked through all of this. I think the members of the BPW who, while we're not, I don't want to jinx it with the 27th out, it's like the 26th and 3/4 out, to the treasurer and to the comptroller, thank you for your work and your leadership. To the Stadium Authority and to the City of Baltimore. I see a number of partners out here. If I start saying it, I'm gonna mess it up. But I want to thank the governor. I want to thank personally the governor, because I know how deeply personal this moment was to say, here is where we spark the revolution of Renaissance. And today, I stand as his partner and his team's partner as we continue, as the Senate of Maryland continues, working to make sure that we maximize our potential, and we do, yet again, what we did on October 16th, 1983, maybe in 2024, here in Camden Yards. Thank you all so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to be with you in this moment. And I believe I have the honor of introducing my incredible partner in this work across the hall, Speaker Adrien Jones.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. And before I start, if you're a member of the House of Delegates or the Senate, raise your hand. Thank you for being here. It was my pleasure to join all of you to celebrate the historic long-term Orioles lease agreement that will be voted on by the Board of Public Works in just a few minutes. I guarantee you that. As a lifelong fan of the Baltimore Orioles, I know today is especially meaningful to the city of Baltimore, the state of Maryland, and all Orioles fans who come to Camden Yards every year to experience that special Oriole magic. As an appropriator, I firmly believe that our investments reflects our values, that our financial commitments demonstrate our priorities and aspirations as a state. That's why I'm proud that the General Assembly has made it a priority to invest in downtown Baltimore. Over the past several years, we have invested in the University of Maryland Medical Center, the University of Maryland Baltimore, the Downtown Partnership of Baltimore, and the Hippodrome. And of course, we have allocated over $1 billion for improvements to the Orioles and Ravens stadiums. We made these investments because downtown Baltimore is critically important to our state, to our identity, and to our future collective success. Camden Yards is an exceptional part of that equation. And today's deal reaffirms its importance as a vital asset that will attract new investments to the downtown region and further accelerate the growth. It also ensures that the work will be done with all shareholders at the table. I know the state and the Orioles are committed to working with all our partners, from the Stadium Authority, the Board of Public Works, the Legislative Policy Committee, the Maryland Historical Trust, and most importantly, the community, to find a plan that works for everyone in the developing the area around the stadium. Our shared victory today is one we can all be proud of. A lot of work remains, and I can't wait to get started. It is important that we get this right. And with that, I'm going to slide over here. Thank you, and thank you, everyone, and acknowledge the mayor who is here as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, everybody. It is wonderful to be here. I'm Brooke Lman. I'm honored to serve as the 34th Comptroller of the state of Maryland, and delighted to be here in my old district when I represented District 46 as a delegate. So I'm so pleased to join my fellow board members of the Board of Public Works today, Governor Moore and Treasurer Davis, as well as my forever speaker, Adrien Jones, and my forever teammate, Senate President Bill Ferguson, and our mayor and Chair Thompson here today at Camden Yards. This is an important occasion, highlighted by the fact that this is the first time the Board of Public Works has met outside of Annapolis in decades, and the first special meeting for the board in 15 years. But since opening day on April 6, 1992, a game that I attended with my father, Camden Yards has been the site of Orioles magic for 30 years. including this fantastic season, which I had the honor and pleasure of sharing with my 2 children. And so it's important that we are here today to keep going. I'm sure you all know, if you follow me on social media during Orioles season, that I am a big Orioles fan. My family and I bike ride or walk or take the bus to games from our home in Fells Point. There's honestly no way I'd rather spend a summer night than at the ballpark having a beer and eating peanuts and watching the Orioles win while wearing an Orioles baseball cap. But throughout these negotiations, I wore a different hat and I took on a different stance. I may love our players, but the negotiation was not with them. It was with an owner, an institution. And I'm here not to be a rubber stamp for John Angelos or for Governor Moore, but to bring my own keen sense of what is good for our state, for our taxpayers, and for my adopted hometown of Baltimore. As an independently elected statewide official, I consider myself an advocate for Marylanders when I review contracts coming to the Board of Public Works. I am responsible for helping to ensure that every contract that the state enters into and every investment made with state dollars is in the best interest of our state, our businesses, and our taxpayers. I'm looking for best value and I'm looking for transparency. This initial deal is an extension of the original lease terms the Orioles signed with the state decades ago, but the Orioles can now also elect to convert the lease to a new facilities use agreement as well. And that agreement represents a new model for our stadiums. Therefore, I brought strong thoughts and a keen mind when reviewing those terms. I appreciate that the governor's team met with me several times and I was able to present them with my non-negotiables on the facilities use agreement and later on the development clauses as well. So after ensuring the MSA employees could continue in their roles, I focused on 3 items in the facilities use agreement: rigorous and transparent oversight to ensure accountability, continuous transparent review, including of MBE requirements, and recourse if the Orioles did not maintain the stadium at the standards Marylanders would expect. First, rigorous oversight. That's what I was looking for. Only through ensuring that every public dollar that goes into the stadium must be reported to the Maryland Stadium Authority and the Board of Public Works, and hence to the public, can we ensure accountability. Maryland taxpayers deserve to understand how their money is being spent and to know that an essential state asset like Camden Yards cannot be bought and sold in back rooms. The facilities use agreement preserves the well-established role of the Board of Public Works to provide oversight of this valuable state asset and clearly articulates how taxpayer money can be spent in the maintenance, upkeep, and further development of the Camden Yards complex, while also ensuring the Orioles make their share of investments over the next few decades. There's also continuous and transparent review. Although we meet and review items of a certain value every other week at the Board of Public Works, and I see many of you there every other week or so, there are many, many other items that do not make it onto the agenda. Those are lower valued items, but those are still state dollars. And we review something called PAR reports every few weeks or every month that are also publicly available on the Board of Public Works website as well. So when I was reviewing the facilities use agreement, therefore, in addition to ensuring that the $600 million bond funds would come through the BPW, I needed to ensure that those smaller dollars would also be publicly available and reported, and that requirement is there. Finally, this deal will last potentially for decades. Unless I pull a Louis Goldstein, doubtful, this deal will well outlive my time in public office. It may also outlast the current ownership of the Orioles. Therefore, it's essential to me that the MSA has the ability to step in and seek recourse to maintain the state jewel, our Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and that this deal ensures that's possible. Just a couple words more about the development. I was not a signatory to the MOU that was developed, and while I appreciate the work of the Stadium Authority and the Orioles to sign it, it does not and did not bind me or my vote in any way. The Orioles and their partners need to make the case to me, to us as a state, that they should be entrusted to develop the land around the stadium. This agreement allows them a process to make that case. After they collaborate with the people of Baltimore, with the small businesses and the communities around Camden Yards to ensure that they are consulted, I look forward to reviewing any plans that they bring forward. Lastly, I just want to talk about what this deal means for our city and our state. We all know, we're here, Camden Yards is an essential feature of downtown Baltimore and of Maryland. It's a landmark that serves as an anchor, a beautiful anchor for our city, for our state, and for our regional economy. Orioles homestands, concerts, and other events generate millions of dollars every year for the state, as well as the restaurants, hotels, and other small businesses throughout downtown Baltimore. You might have seen a recent report from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis showed, as the governor mentioned, that Baltimore City has the fourth largest economy in Maryland, and among jurisdictions with at least $50 billion in gross domestic product, it is among the top 10 cities with the highest growth in the nation. Finalizing this new lease builds on that momentum. It solidifies Baltimore's position as a destination for arts, entertainment, and sports. And the certainty that comes from knowing fans will be able to enjoy Orioles baseball for the decades to come will help bolster the confidence of local businesses and attract new investment to downtown Baltimore. Thank you again to the governor, to the Senate President, Speaker, Treasurer, and MSA board members for their partnership and their patience. Sometimes you may have thought it took me a little too long to read through all the small print, but I'm a lawyer and I live for that. Nelson Mandela once said that sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. And I agree. It's hard to replicate the feeling of pride and unity that I feel when Orioles fans from across the state come together at Camden Yards to cheer on our team, especially in the postseason. Some may buy expensive box seats, others get the $8 youth seats in the bleachers, some choose to get soaked, some find seats to stay dry, and I love it whenever I can be there. I look forward to more 100-plus game wins in the seasons to come. I have strong feelings about the recruitment of a new starting veteran pitcher for the Orioles, and I look forward to cheering on the Orioles for decades to come with my children and my grandchildren. Thank you. And now I'm delighted to bring on my fellow Board of Public Works member, Treasurer Derrick Davis.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
You know, I woke up this morning, well, I went to bed last night and woke up this morning not feeling well, and you all can probably hear it, feverish, like 100, well, it wasn't really 103. I just thought it would add something to the story if I told you all that. But I woke up feverish, and I didn't know that I was going to be able to make it here today. But the closer we got to the hour and the closer as we were driving here, the better I started feeling. And then we walked in and I saw the bird. You know, you saw the bird, I started feeling better and even better. And then when I saw all of you here, I knew this is the moment. This is where I was supposed to be. Now, when they told me I was closing, you know, so I walked up, I was expecting to hear Omar's whistle or something, and you know, but maybe we'll work on that for next time. Listen, guys, we're in Annapolis, we have a saying that, you know, everything's been said, but everybody hasn't said it. So I'm going to break with that tradition and just say it's an honor to be here. Congratulations, Governor, Craig, Mayor, and everyone that's involved with this. This is truly just an amazing time, an incredible victory. As we can sort of look to last week at our neighbors up the road, when you take your eye off the ball, you can lose, and so our you know, the local basketball team and the local hockey team are now appearing to head towards Virginia. So I wanted to say that to say you can't take it for granted that this was going to get done or that they didn't have options. There's always options. If you don't believe it, ask the folks in Oakland about the A's and the Raiders. So this wasn't a given, but you guys made it happen. I'm honored to have been a part of that effort. And now I would just say, let's go sign some agreements. Let's go vote. Upstairs, this room.